All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today in this six-figure business and tax summit. Thank you for joining us. We have some awesome speaker that will be sharing with you their take on business and taxes. I almost say finance because that's something that I do all the time. So what I'm going to do, so I know some of you don't have a clue who I am. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce the first speaker, and then we're going to kick the bucket rolling. Hey, I'm Jamaican, so I might say something if you don't understand. Just put in the screen and says, Elaine, what did you mean by that? Because it's all good. I'll make sure that you understand. So here we go. I am Elaine Forbes Daisley, otherwise known as the Elaine Forbes. Yes, I am the Elaine Forbes. I am a business development strategist, virtual bookkeeper. I help business owner to up-level their business. I help them to grow their business without worrying about QuickBooks or bookkeeping. I have various resources that I share with them so that they can take their business to six-figure. So why am I able to talk about this? So let me start where it began. I am, if you don't know by my accent, I'm a Jamaican. Yes, all the way from Jamaica. I migrated here 23 years ago. Quick story, and I like to tell story, so that's who I am. I migrated here 23 years ago, and when I migrated, I was an accountant auditor in Jamaica, and I thought I could do any job, I could learn anything. So what I did is that I started applying for job. While applying for job, I saw a job that says need help with need QuickBook knowledge. I had no clue what it is, never heard of it before, but I still applied for the job. However, when I got the interview, the guy said to me, "Do you know QuickBooks?" I said, "No, what's that?" He said, "It's a software." And I said, "Oh, okay." He says, "So why are you applying for a job and you don't know what is QuickBook? You need to go learn QuickBook." I said, "Where do I learn it?" He says, "Go to the Chamber of Commerce." Yes, he did tell me that. I did ask all those questions because I had no clue. It was like 3 months after I migrated here. So I went to the Chamber of Commerce, who sent me somewhere else. I ended up with this lady who was teaching QuickBooks. I knew in the area, didn't know the area, had no car. So when the day come for me to go to the class, nobody was available to take me. My father had a manual car and I could drive manual. So he said, "Okay, this is the direction. MapQuest, guys, MapQuest. This is the direction. And this is how you're going to get to where you're going." Now, if you ever drive a manual car, you know that that thing will shut off if you're not quick with your feet. I got to the stoplight, stopped at the stoplight, and the car shut off. And people was blowing me all along. And I'm like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. But I made it. This is 23 years later. I'm a QuickBook Pro advisor. I'm an accountant. I have two children, and if you follow me on Facebook at Create Financial Solution, on Sunday evenings, me and my daughter go live and we just talk about Honest Hour. And as we go along, I'll share some more stuff about myself. So I want to bring to you because, quick story, that's my failed business. We'll talk about it as we get along. That's my failed business. So I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Now, we know that most business, when they get to six figure, some of them are unaware of what they owe in taxes. Some people are not doing their bookkeeping. So we're going to bring up a tax expert, and let me introduce to you Lasandra. Did I say it right, Lasandra?
That's so I can save you, Lasandra.
Okay, so guys, you will see why I struggle with her name later on. But I met Lasandra on Periscope. Funny enough, we did not even realize that we know each other when I reached out to her to speak until last night, really, or until we spoke the other day. So Lysandra said she's a movie and music lover, and she loves road trip. She's a veteran. Hey, hey, hey to the military people. I've got to give shout out. I'm a military mom. And she's a wife. She has two military brats. I don't know what that means. Here is the thing is that why can she talk to you? She's an enroll agent, and that's the highest certification awarded by IRS. And she's also a member of, she has a whole bunch of affiliation when it comes to taxes. So we're just going to say a whole bunch. And let's see what else. She's a speaker. She's a trainer. Most importantly, she is the home biz tax lady. That's it, right?
Yes, you did. That's awesome.
She's also a social media geek. You can find her on YouTube. Are you still on Periscope, Lysandra?
No, I you know what? I just realized that Periscope is still going strong, so I might be back over there.
But she gives you some tips in the morning. And let me tell you something. Let me share this. I used to watch her every morning for a long time, and I don't know where she went. But I myself have tax experience, but Lysandra drops some nuggets when she's on. So Lysandra, I have 2 or 3 questions for you. And like I say to people, I have 6 questions, but if you answer the first 2 right, you get a pass, okay?
I'm here for it.
All right. So, that one is too easy for you.
Just shoot. Let's have a conversation because
okay.
Let's just talk about it.
So the question that I have, I'm going to ask you the question, and then it says, are you prepared for the financial shift that happened when your business hit 6-figure?
Yeah. So was I prepared? Sort of. So here's what happens in business, right? We start in business and we're like, yeah, we're going to do some stuff, right? And then we're just plugging along. And then all of a sudden it explodes, right? And when I say I was sort of prepared, here's what happened. I went to a networking event, and it's one of those problem-solving mastermind type things. And one of the ladies, she's like, so what you got going on? I was like, you know what? I'm good. I got no complaints. All is well. It's currently smooth sailing. And she said to me, her name is Robin Mathers. She said to me, you're not ready for growth.
Ooh, did somebody catch that?
And it stuck with me. So whenever I'm like smooth sailing, it's like, okay, I'm not ready for the next thing. I need to get ready. So when the explosion happened, I was ready, like as ready as I could be. But you still have the growing pains along the way. But we have to get to a point of expectation in our businesses to where we really are expecting what we say we want. We say we want all this business to drop out of the sky, but we're not preparing to receive said business. So we have to learn to start expecting what we're asking for. And if we're doing the work, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. But when it does happen, if we've been preparing, then it's like, okay, cool. And you just got the little, the tweaks to make along the way.
Okay. I think it's unfair to the others because you're going to probably answer this right. Okay. Do you know which kind of expense can be deducted and which are out of pocket?
Yeah, which expenses can be deducted versus not deducted? Absolutely. The rule is that if it is ordinary and necessary in the course of business, it is tax deductible. Now, How do you define ordinary and necessary? So here's the, you know, the side stuff that you don't know, right? When you're preparing your taxes, they have this thing called a NAICS code, NAICS code. Is National something, something, something code, right?
I'll help you out with that.
Yeah.
National American. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you guys what it means in a minute. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Lasandra.
So you have this NAICS code where your business fits into specific categories. And what the IRS does is they look nationwide at all of these people in these specific categories. So if normally in your industry, if you're normally deducting, I don't know, a water bottle, you know, you're in the health industry, right? If you're in the health industry, deducting a water bottle to, you know, to sell or whatever, that's in the normal course of business. But if you're over here trying to write off a Lamborghini, you know, the IRS is going, okay, everybody else in this next code, none of them have a Lamborghini. What's wrong with this person? Right? So when so in the ordinary course of business, if that is required, then okay, great. But when they do, because the IRS has these audits where they're just basically poking around, trying to gather data is what they're doing. So it's not to say that you've done anything wrong, it's that they're collecting data. And so in that data collection process, and they, you know, find out what should be here, what's common, what's not so common. And then that's where they set their standards from. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So all those codes that are on your tax return that you think mean nothing, they mean something.
So what you're telling me is that I can get an audit not necessarily because I'm doing something wrong, but because they want to get more information on what people does?
Absolutely. You know, and this is why we tell you, when people's like, don't prepare my return so I don't get audited. Like, I can never tell you that you will not get audited. That's not my decision. The only thing that I can do is help you to be prepared in the event that you are audited, to make sure that you know the information that you need to have available so that if you are audited, you can just give them what they want. But I can never tell you, nobody in this world can tell you that you would never be audited. No one.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm just going to let you now talk to the people about how you prepare financially, and you can touch on how important it is to have your bookkeeping. I know when we talked, you said to me, I stay in my lane. What I want you to specifically talk to the people about, because most people don't understand that the tax preparer is not always the bookkeeper or the accountant. So I want you to share that with the people. So you have about 10 minutes. Just talk to the people.
Okay. So yeah, you know, when you are looking for professionals, can you get a one-stop shop? Absolutely. You have your accountants, you have your bookkeepers, you have your tax people. Not all accountants are tax people. Not all bookkeepers are tax people. Not all tax people are bookkeepers or accountants, right? We have our different specialties. Does that mean that we can't service you? No. Just understanding we all have our different specialties. And that's what an enrolled agent is. An enrolled agent is a tax specialist versus a CPA who is an accounting specialist versus a bookkeeper who is a bookkeeping specialist, right? We're all cousins and we all need to work together in order for you, the client, to be able to get the biggest benefit. But the root of all of that is in the raw data, which is in the bookkeeping, because if the bookkeeping isn't right, then the accounting analysis isn't going to be right. And then your taxes aren't going to be right either. So it all boils down to that. So absolutely, keeping your books is absolutely key. And what I find is, and a lot of times what I get is I'll get someone who is making multiple six figures in their business and their stuff's still on a spreadsheet. Like, no. Just a simple no. It's okay to start on a spreadsheet when you're first getting started, but that's where you start, not where you stay. You need to have structured bookkeeping in place. And during this era of the COVID-19 and all the things that happened with all of the different types of funding, it really let people know where they were not. in their businesses. There were many, many tax people, bookkeepers, accountants getting the same phone call. I need a year's worth of bookkeeping right now, because you did not have the financial documents ready for you to apply for this funding, right? So, but if you do your bookkeeping, right, that is going to help you get everything else. It's going to help you make good financial decisions about your business. So you actually can push a button to find out how much money that you've made. There are too many six-figure earning people that don't know how much money they actually make. Let that sink in. They just know that there is money going in and money going out. And that's not enough for a business to thrive. Survive, yes. Thrive, no. So it is important that you know what what's in your books, where your money is going. And by doing that, by having the basics in place, then you can make educated decisions about business structures and all of that, because it's all about the numbers. It's not about a gut feeling. It is about the numbers. So, but like I said, if your numbers are crap, then everything else is going to be crap. That's really what it boils down to. So if there's anything that you take away from this summit, is to spend the time, invest the money. It's going to cost, right? But if you invest the money and get the hard work done now, it's only going to be easier as things go on. There isn't going to be any more of the tax season scramble, right? The tax season scramble is like right now, it's the day before tax day. It shouldn't be, but it is. And there are people right now who are trying to figure out their numbers from 2019 in order to get their taxes filed today. Unacceptable as a business owner. You should be able to push a button and voila, you're done. That's the way it should be, because it's less stress for you and it's less stress for your tax professional and your accounting professionals as well. So, so that would be my message, is if you don't have structured bookkeeping in place, to get it done, make it a priority, because it really is. Because if you expect your business to fund your life, then when it comes down time to apply for loans, whether it's a car loan, a mortgage, or anything like that, you're going to have to show documentation that you have the income to sustain paying those things back, just like you do with a job. But for business owners, it's harder, right? Because there's not that consistent income coming in, because all businesses have their up and downs, right? But when you have bookkeeping, then you can learn the ebbs and flows of your business, the ups and downs, when you're, making the most money, when you're, your lean months, and then you can plan for those things and have a solid running business. So that does that cover it, Elaine? So, yeah, there you are.
I had to find my mic. I was dropping the mic over here. I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's too early for taxes. It is too early, but you know what? I am taking notes. So I hope people, you're taking notes. You're writing down. And we have another tax professional that's going to come later on, and you're going to hear some of these things over and over. Make sure you take notes, right? You said structured bookkeeping. One of the things that you said that I've always said, an Excel spreadsheet. When you talk about that Excel spreadsheet, I'm like, oh, Jesus. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So
it's where you start. It's not where you stay. Like, we all get it. We all started on a spreadsheet. Everybody, when Excel came out, I was like, okay, great. We can put things in little boxes and all of that. Absolutely. But as you grow, you can't stay on a spreadsheet and not be, you don't have a balance sheet. You don't have a cash flow statement. Like, you really don't know anything about your business except money is coming in and money is going out. That's all you know. And that's not enough.
All right, LaShondra, can you just tell the people what you do, how you help them, and how they can get in touch if they want to talk about some home tax biz?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I am the Home Biz Tax Lady on all social media. I hang out on Facebook and YouTube the most. You can ask anybody that. So you can actually look me up there, the Home Biz Tax Lady. And what I do is I really help home business owners win. If you are running a business from home, and listen, people are running $1 million businesses from the house. Like, don't get it twisted that you just think of a home business as some little MLM or something like that. No, home business covers so much. And what I do is I really teach you what you need to know in order to run a profitable business. We look at not just at the taxes. I'm the stalker tax lady. If you on this internet and you come to me and talking about, I didn't make much money this year, I'm like, okay, well, that's great because I was on Instagram and I didn't see you posting anything. Right? So we're going to problem solve and really help you become profitable, because that's why we're in business. We ain't in business to get tax deductions. We're in business to boss out, and we got to write checks to the government when we do. And my job is to help you be prepared to write those checks instead of trying to figure out how you're going to pay off the government.
Tell the people how to get in touch with you apart from on social media.
Oh, you can email me at homebiztaxlady@gmail.com. I told y'all I'm the Home Biz Tax Lady everywhere. So it's homebiztaxlady@gmail.com. You can shoot me a message, or you can schedule a call at www.homebiztaxchat.com. You're muted.
I know. All right. So you will put that in the chat so people can see it.
I sure
guys,
will.
Make sure you reach out to LaShondra. Listen, you're understanding a little bit, but okay. Yeah, I messed the name up. So guys, some of you, like LaShondra says, are using Excel, right? We want to get you away from Excel. And I know we said 6-figure, but if you're making any figure, not just 6-figure, any figure, all right? So we got to make sure we take care of that. So thank you so much for LaShondra for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing. I know it's too early in the morning to be talking about tax, but it is actually the day before taxes. Don't ask me why I put it for today, because I'm like, oh my goodness, Elaine, you crazy. But guess what?
Yeah, because when I get off from you, guess what I'm going to do? Taxes.
All right. Thank you so much, LaShondra.
Thank you. Good joy.
All righty. All right. Okay, guys. So if you have questions for LaShondra, if you have any question, please make sure that you put your question in, and we'll make sure that LaShondra get those questions and reach out to her, right? I was just, it's funny because I was just looking at something and I say to myself, I say these things so many times. And you know what is the funny thing about it is that when I get someone that I look at their books and I'm like, oh my goodness, did I not say it enough? But I was explaining to my daughter about how our mindset work. And I said to her, even though I know certain things, even though I know what to do, I'll tell you what to do. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. So I know. All right. So coming up right after LaShondra, we have, okay, so Miss Aris, because I don't know what your first name is. tell us your first name so I can say correctly. Because
Maya.
Maya. So I was right. I'm like, so guys, if you know anything about me, is that I mess people's name up, right? I am the worst when it comes to saying people's name. To this day, My kids have teachers that I call them by the wrong name until I don't even remember what their right name was. So we have Moya in the house.
Yes.
Maya.
Maya. Yep.
Listen. And I was introduced to Maya a couple of weeks ago. And I just want to do a little introduction for her. She says, she runs her own business. She is passionate. She's passionate, let me see, about helping women start their own business, connect them with resources they need to build sustainable venture. And guess what? She does something that I absolutely love. And I'm going to pause to tell you what NAICS mean, because Maya also will probably touch on this, but I want to tell you what it is. It's North America Industry Classification System. Am I right, Miss Maya? Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
She said it. I hope so. Yeah, she's an author of 2 books, What is Your Oil? And Unmasking Your Hidden Talent. And she's a co-author of Unchain My Legacy, How Owning Our Choices Free Us from Those. I gotta go get that book.
It's
she has 2 wonderful sons, and she lives in Richmond. And I know Miss Nikisha is going to come in here and says Richmond is the house, and she always be saying that. So Miss Moya she's a startup, right? Business startup and network strategist.
Yes.
So, Miss Maya, I have a couple questions for you. And like I tell everybody, if they answer it right, we have 6 questions. Okay?
Okay. I heard. I'm a little nervous, but okay.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ask, and if you answer the first couple right, then you get away from the 6. Now,
wow.
I grew up in Jamaica, right?
No.
Yes, I did. I did.
You couldn't hide it if you wanted to.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. I grew up in Jamaica, and when you go to school, you got to make sure you know the lesson. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
So, because you know what happened if you don't know it. All right. So, number 1 is, do you track charitable donation given by your company?
I do, so I track everything. I'm so nervous about being audited. I'm not a tax professional. I have a tax professional, and so I track everything, and I turn in everything to him, and he takes care of that. But since I track my personal charitable donations, it only makes sense for me to track my business charitable donations. So am I right about that? Are we good on that one?
Yes, we're good on that one.
Yes, I feel like there should be like a buzzer, like woo!
Okay, are you involved with tracking your finance in your company?
You have to be. You have, even if you hire someone, like like most of us are not tax professionals who are business owners. We have our area of expertise. If you're a master baker, that does not mean you know anything about taxes, but you still have to know what happens. You think about all of the stories about celebrities and athletes who just turn over everything to a supposed financial expert strategist, and they don't know what happened to their money. And so you have to know, and that's not just with taxes, but everything with your business. If you're going to hire someone out to handle a portion of an area of your business, you need to at least understand what you are turning over to them. And so but when it comes to taxes, you absolutely better know what you are what you're dealing with, and hopefully you have a tax professional working with you that's going to walk you through the process
Okay.
and not just, that's a red flag for me. If someone's like, just give it to me and I'll take care of it. No, you need to take me step by step, line by line, what you're doing. So if you're out, if you're someone like myself who does not have a background in finances but you're a business owner, you need to educate yourself enough so that you are at least having a general understanding of what your tax professional is doing for you.
Okay. Next question. What do you use to track your income and expenses?
So I am a QuickBooks Online gal. I was laughing when when you were talking a little bit earlier, and LaSandra was talking earlier about Excel, because I love paper and pencil. Okay, I was a high school English teacher for 20 years. I love paper and pencil, but there's no way to get to the next level if you're doing everything by paper and pencil. So having some type of program that's going to automatically do these things for you. And then, of course, having your own checklist of going back and knowing what some things to look for, and if you have to add anything manually, of course. But and only because QuickBooks Online was something that was taught to me that I found easy. But there are tons of programs that you can use. But I really feel like as long as you find the one. I have a very good friend of mine, Cash, the bookkeeper, and she always says, find the one that works for you. So it doesn't matter which program you're using, but find the one that you understand, that's easy for you to use, that you can then turn over to who you need to turn over to, and you can still understand what's happening. But for me, QuickBooks Online was my solution.
Okay, so since you touched on QuickBooks Online, and I noticed you said that it was taught to you.
Yes. I had to learn it. Like I'm not the type, and that's the type of learner I am. So I need someone who knows what they're talking about to walk me through what it is I have to do. I'm not very good with like video tutorials and things like that. I prefer having someone talk me through it. But Kashfia Rashid here in Richmond, Virginia, is a really amazing resource when it comes to QuickBooks Online. And so for those who live in Richmond, they know Cash the bookkeeper is a girl to go to when it comes to QuickBooks Online. So she's been very helpful for me and a lot of professionals in this area really understand that program.
Okay, so that now that you said that, I know that I'm a pro advisor myself. I do QuickBooks myself, and I find like a lot of people says when they open QuickBooks, it's overwhelming. Were you overwhelmed when you open it the first time?
I'm telling you that the QuickBooks that's like the desktop version, I think is overwhelming. The online version was a little more user friendly, but still, if that's not your area of expertise, it's going to be overwhelming. So if it's even though I feel like it's a user friendly program, there's so many components to it. And I think sometimes if people do not take the time to hire a professional like yourself,
right,
you're going to miss something, because there's just so many pieces to it. You're going to miss something. And so it's really important for business owners. And I work with startups. I work with I call them my prepreneurs, and everything is new to the prepreneur, and so it's really important for them and all business owners. But, since I talk about startups, it's really important for them to work with someone who can walk them through, the different pieces of the programs, so that they don't, you lose money, you lose time and money if you're trying to do something yourself that's completely foreign to you. So hiring a professional is definitely the way to go.
All right. Did you hire the professional at the beginning?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm a teacher. So, my teacher brain said, oh, Ma, you can do this. Girl, it's just a computer program. You do this all the time. Public school teachers, they're always throwing new programs at us, right? You got this, girl. No, it took me about 3 days to be like, I need to make a phone call. So it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. I think sometimes when you're used to being a self-starter, or you're looking at, okay, I don't want to spend the money to hire a professional, but at the end of the day, you want to spend that money because it's going to save you money in the long run. So it's definitely, it was a lesson I had to learn very quickly.
So, unlike most people that I meet,
Mm-hmm.
they take a year to call a
No,
professional. You didn't take that long, but and that's commendable.
no, it did
Because
not take me that long. I learned my lesson very quickly.
that is awesome. What would you say to someone who bought QuickBooks, still struggling, and say, I can't afford to get someone to teach me, or I don't have the money? What would you say to them?
So you know Dakisha Williams, and so Dakisha would say, let's develop a quick digital product so you can make some money so you can hire that professional. Let's make something so you can get that money in real quick. As a business owner, it's just we have to anticipate those expenses. We have some things that are surprises, but one thing I'm constantly working with my students on. In fact, I just finished a boot camp last week with a group of new business owners that are about to launch, and we spent quite a bit of time on cost and revenue. And I said, look, guys, we're doing this now as before you even put your business out there, so you can understand what's coming up. And if you don't plan for it now, which is shockingly, a lot of people do not plan, properly when it comes to starting their business, then all of a sudden you have these surprises that come up, which really aren't surprises, because if you do the proper business planning, you know that you're going to have to be able to, work with someone to help you with your finances. And so it should not be a surprise. But for a lot of people it is, because they didn't plan properly.
Okay, that is awesome. That's something that I talk about, and I kind of live by it, because
Absolutely.
I believe. So I know you do startup, and you
Yes.
talk a lot, I figure, about planning.
Yeah. Oh, all day.
Do you believe that every new business should, if not a bookkeeper, hire an accountant or someone with accounting knowledge to help them start up, set up, or something? You know what I mean?
So it doesn't have to be someone that you hire. I think sometimes we think of hiring an accountant that they're on staff. That's not even necessary. But having someone that that you can turn to when it comes to financial questions, I think it's important to connect with a professional. And so, no matter where you are, you should be able to say, all right, this is a professional I've worked with. And the person who does your home taxes or anything like that is not necessarily the person that you're going to work with when it comes to business stuff. And because everybody has their lane, right? And so there are tax professionals who are very experienced with working with businesses, and there are professionals who are more experienced working with families, more some folks who work with nonprofits, that type of thing. So, find the person that's going to help you with your needs, and just make sure that if you're not able to hire them on a regular basis, have the conversation with them to see, what can I do to work with you when I have questions. Sometimes it might be a quick 15-minute consultation. And so you might be at home stressing over something that a tax professional can fix for you in under 30 minutes, and you're stressing out over it. So it's, when at the beginning, or even if you're a veteran, a business owner, but you don't have that person that you can turn to, it's, reach out to other business owners and see who they're working with. Referrals are great. And just find that person that that you can connect with when you have specific questions, until you get to the point where you can, if you ever need to have somebody on staff or someone that you can work with on a monthly basis. But a lot of us just, you don't necessarily need that level of support. You just need that person that can answer the questions when you have them.
Awesome. So I'll give you some time now to talk about how you manage your, well, we got some of that, how you manage your own bookkeeping, how important you think bookkeeping is to once you start hitting six figure, and then tell the people what you do, how you can help them, and also tell them how to reach you. So you have a
Okay.
couple minutes to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. This is, I'm really excited to be a part of this just group of professionals who are coming to talk about taxes and talking about the importance of it as you're heading towards six figures. And it's funny because I have always, I think, having the conversations about we've been talking about this, being a six-figure earner in my organization, which is Women Owned Minority Businesses, or WOOM, and getting to that mark and recognizing six figures is really just the beginning. When you're talking about actually how much money you're bringing in, how much income you're bringing in as an entrepreneur, and I talk with a lot of my startups about the fact that getting to six figures, there's a lot of grant opportunities and so forth, but you really have to be at a certain level in your business to even qualify for a lot of federal grants. You might have to be in the business for a year or two before you can qualify for a federal grant. And so really having an understanding of making sure that you have the right team together when you are starting your business is vital. And one vital member of that team is a financial expert, whether it's, a CPA, whatever, someone that you can work with to make sure that you are getting through and understanding where your money is going. I don't know any business owner who has started a business to not make money. And so you want to make sure that you are partnered with someone who is going to help you make money and make sure that you know where your money is at all times. You understand how it's coming in and how it's going out. We are all business owners in the business of solving problems for profit. And so you can't make a profit if you don't know where your money is. And so you want to make sure you have that team together that's helping you build. And one major part of your team is having a tax professional, having a financial professional to help you through and deal with your finances. And so if as a business owner, if you're looking to make more money and you're not really sure why you haven't gotten over that hump, and you don't have a financial professional that you're working with, that might be why, right? Because you are not analyzing, you are not really getting into depth about where your money is going and where you have some holes. You might be losing money somewhere and you have no idea that you're losing money somewhere because you are not tracking your finances, not tracking your costs, not tracking your revenue. And so it's a no-brainer for me. It's like, if you're going to fly a plane, you better have a really good co-pilot with you, okay? And so, again, my name is Maya Harris, and I am your coach, Maya. I'm a business startup coach. I also work with networking, obviously also networking strategist, because I'm also the founder of WOOM, Women Owned Minority Businesses, and we're a business networking organization because my startups have to have somewhere to go after they start their businesses. And so I specifically work with women of color who are just coming together to collaborate and connect and build their communities. It's a beautiful organization for women of color who are entrepreneurs. I like to call it the BNI for women of color, where we have groups called circles that are your mastermind groups, your accountability groups, and then we work with amazing coaches, a lot of the amazing coaches like we have today, where you can just get the help that you need to grow your business. And so as a startup coach, one thing I've been passionate about is really helping women of color start businesses, because for so long we have been behind the curve when it comes to entrepreneurship. And when I decided to become a startup coach, it was actually I was a teacher and I worked with high school kids, and one day we had a project and I decided to say, guys, we're going to start some businesses. And we had this really, this really great experience where, 120 kids were working on helping him start imaginary businesses. And the process was just so fascinating to me. I started to really learn a little bit more about it and apply some of those things to my own businesses. And then, folks would come to me and ask me for assistance. I was like, oh yeah, I did 120 of these already. And then just really started to perfect my craft, where now I'm able to help entrepreneurs really launch their business, to have it to be sustainable and profitable. You can, it's so easy to launch a business now. You get an EIN, get a website, boom, you're in business, right? $10 business license here in Rickel County. But that does not mean, just because you can put a business online does not mean that you're a business owner. You really want to understand the process and the foundation of starting your business so that you can sustain it. You can sustain it and become profitable. And you're in a position to make decisions about your business, as opposed to your business making decisions for you. And for those who have stressed out over their business, you understand what I mean about your business making decisions for you. You want to make sure you are in control of your business. And one way to do that is to make sure you have a strong foundation. And so I specifically work with startup entrepreneurs, but I also work with business owners who have been in business for a while and really just need to go back and re-examine their foundations and see, hey, Maya, you know what? I don't know why this is not working for me. Well, you know what? Maybe you don't really have a good idea who your customer is, who's your target audience, who's your avatar. And anytime those terms are foreign to you, it's like, okay, let's go back and do some foundational work on your business. And so that's what my passion is. And then, of course, we graduate our entrepreneurs into our womb circles so they can continue to grow and connect with entrepreneurs like themselves. So it's, it's as we are in this season, we're in a very interesting season right now where business owners or folks who are looking to create new income streams and are recognizing, man, I've been at home for 3 months. I should probably, do something. This is an exciting time to really start looking at the things that you're passionate about, looking at the things that, I would do this even if I wasn't getting paid, I would do this. That thing that you're passionate about, that thing that you love doing that other people don't necessarily love doing, but they like it. That's the thing that you can start a business with. And so, I love being able to work with our startups. We have a boot camp coming up, and then we have some other programs that are going to be launching in August. But to get in touch with me, you can visit me online at yourcoachmaya.com. Super easy. You can email me at yourcoachmaya@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. Guess what? At yourcoachmaya. On Instagram, Your Coach Maya. Very simple, right? And then you can also find our organization Womb if you go to WombBiz, WOMBBIZ.org, and learn more about our organization. If you're looking to connect with women entrepreneurs who are building their communities, who are collaborating, really creating these awesome collaborative projects that help each other out and just grow their networks organically. It's absolutely amazing what they're able to do and some of the things that they've come up with. And so if you're interested in learning more about our organization, visit us at wombbiz.org. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at WombBiz, and actually also on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn at Your Coach Maya and at WombBiz. And so if you have any questions about starting your business, or if you have any questions about connecting with other entrepreneurs and you're like, Maya, I don't have a support system, come on into our circle. We'd love to have you a part of what we're doing and what we're building. And I think I just took my 10 minutes.
That's all right. That's all right. OMG. Maya, I gotta ask you this question because
please do.
I've always known woman-owned business, minority business, but I never used the acronym WOMB. OMG.
Yeah,
OMG.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Are you also affiliated with the certification as well? Do you help people to get the minority certification as well?
So no, but what we do is connect them to the coaches in the SBA that can help them do that. And it's
Okay.
interesting with that certificate, because the certification is not womb. The certification is minority. It's minority women. It's womb kind of a flipped around. And
Yes.
I went through the certification, and I remember sitting, kind of doing some studying and filling information out and looking at the letters and just saying, well, if you flip that around, that says womb. And for me, one of my taglines is I'm your business birthing coach, and our boot camp is called the Business Birthing Boot Camp, and it just made sense that when you are in the process of planning a business, we always call it your baby. Like, my business is my baby.
Yeah.
And our startup group on Facebook is actually called we call it the B3 Incubator, which is the Business Birthing Boot Camp Incubator. All of those things kind of came together for me. But as a woman who's a business owner, that process is really, you have to take care of your baby. You have to make sure you have the right professionals, making sure that you and your baby are healthy in order to have a healthy business. So womb just made sense. I love that. I was able to grab the acronym before anybody else, and it's just been a blessing. It's really been a blessing.
I was just blown away because I'm like, we're minority certified. My husband's business is minority certified.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah.
But yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to put that in there. Thank you so much. Make sure you put your information in, people. Listen, one of the things that I always say is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And let me do a little preaching up in here. Let me tell you something. The Bible tells us, in the Bible, it tells us that what man is going to build a house and not sit down and put a plan together to see how he's going to finish, not how he's going to begin it. He wants to know how he's going to finish. That's Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Maybe Absolutely. One of the few verses in the Bible that I can remember at my age. But it is very important if you need help. And I'm sure you also do people who are already in business, you go over.
Yeah. I have I'm going to put it in the chat. I have a freebie that I always give out where it's really understanding your avatar. Like, a lot of business owners have no idea who their target audience is. And you say, well, who's your target audience? And they say, well, I want everybody to buy from me. Like, who can afford to target everybody? Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And so that's one thing I love working with current business owners, folks who are already in business for, sometimes, but they don't really have an idea of who that persona is that they should be targeting, instead of just kind of wildly just marketing to everybody and then getting mad because cousin Ray Ray didn't buy something from you. Well, cousin Ray Ray is not your target. Like, why are you worried about that? And so that's one thing I love working with current business owners about, really being able to identify that person who is your target. So I'll throw that in the chat of anybody that wants to grab that. It's definitely something that will help you identify who your target audience is.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. It is such a pleasure to have you
Absolutely.
in here
Thank you
with
for having
us.
Me. Yep.
And guys, if you have questions, if you are in the summit and you have questions, please make sure to put your question in. We'll make sure that Moya gets all these questions. And guys, I just absolutely learned so much from the two speaker that comes in already. It's early in the morning and we're getting some great nuggets. Now, one of the things that I take away from what she says is that if you are doing something and you open it, okay, let's talk about QuickBooks because she spoke about it. She says it's after 3 days, she gets a professional to teach her. After 3 days, guys, most people don't wait until 3 days. So if you have QuickBooks, it looks at it, it's overwhelming, or even if you don't have QuickBooks, make sure we need to talk. We need to talk. All right, so coming up, we have, let me see if I can get her in. Where is she? She disappeared on me. Okay, here she is. we're gonna bring in our next speaker. All right. So Miss Spessity.
Hello.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Don't say ma'am. You made me feel old. I'm unapologetically gray, but when you say mom, I'm gonna feel like I'm old. Okay.
Sorry, just part of how I was raised.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I met Spessity about a month or so ago, right, Spessity? Never
Yes,
knew
ma'am.
she exists, and all of a sudden, she's just such an awesome person. And she is. Let's talk about Spessity so that you know who's going to talk to you. She is known in the beauty industry as Pooh. Pooh the bear. She's a licensed cosmetologist, salon owner, and salon coach, and a business strategist. She does consulting for business owners. So I guess she's been a hairstylist. Listen, I'm gonna call you a hairstylist. That's all right.
It's okay. I normally don't like to be labeled by that because it's levels to the industry.
I'm
like to be called a
glad I
beautician.
asked. A beautician.
Yes.
I'll say beautician because I like that better. I like that better. My sister, one of my sister was my beautician. So for the years that I put addition stuff in my hair, she was the one.
Right.
She still gives me advice, even because she moved away and leave me alone. And I'm not the best person at doing all of that. All right. She says she's been doing this for over 25 years. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna tell you how long she said she's been doing 25 years. I'm not gonna tell you when she started because y'all gonna sit out there and calculate her age, and we don't want you to do that. And she's from Virginia. I don't know why I have all these people in here from Virginia, but not a what you want to call yourself? We call ourselves New Yorkers. What you call yourself?
We Richmond.
Oh, Richmond.
Right.
Okay.
We're going to say RVA.
Oh, RVA.
Yeah,
okay.
RVA.
Hey. So you received an Icon Award in 2014, feature on the news in 2016. Oh, we have celebrity in the house. All right, so I'm going to stop talking about Spessity and we have a couple of questions. And like I say, I'll tell everybody, it's 6 questions. If you answer the couple right, then, you get because, I'm Jamaican, okay? And we got to make sure you get it right.
Right.
All right, Spessity. So your first question is, are you involved with tracking your finance in your business, your company?
Yes, I do. I track it. I'm old school with mine. I still do a spreadsheet. Plus the system that I use as far as the salon also tracks some stuff as well. So I'm doing 2 different processes.
Okay, so you are using, so this question you answered, because the next question was what do you use to track income and expenses? So you're using Excel.
Yes, I use Excel, and plus the appointment system that I use at the salon does track a portion of the business.
Okay, so the next question is, do you think that just tracking income and expenses is enough for your business?
I would say to a certain degree, no. Because it's so many components, to running a salon, that you want to make sure that you're tracking everything that comes with running a salon, so that you will know your your gains and your losses all the way around. And so I think it's important to make sure that you're tracking every component to make sure that you're not missing any loopholes in the business.
Okay, so the next question is, do you know all the financial component? I think I'm asking you the wrong question. Hold on. That's not, sorry. What they do, we skip that question because do you do you know what kind of expenses can be deducted and which are out of pocket? Out of pocket, you understand what out of pocket means, right?
Yes, out of my pocket.
No, do you know which kind of expenses that you can deduct and which are not deductible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and I maximize every one.
Okay. Okay, were you prepared for the financial shift that happened when you hit 6 figures?
Not all the way. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't. It was a process to get in there. I actually hit 6 figures before I knew I hit 6 figures. And so the reason I didn't know I hit 6 figures because at first I wasn't tracking right. And that is why it's important to track.
Okay. So when you hit 6, so if you don't mind, give the people how you actually found out what were some of the things that you realized, because you said you didn't even know you hit six figures.
No,
right?
I mean, I had hit 6 figures before I really realized it in that couple years prior to knowing. And the reason is because when you're coming in the beauty industry, it's no blueprint. It's nothing to follow. It's no guidance. And with that being set up that way, you know, without having people to guide you, you coming in and you really learning as you go. And it is only until you run into somebody that's doing it, that talk about it, is when you learn, okay, you get an aha moment where, oh, I need to be doing this. Okay, and how do I do that? And see, in our industry, a lot of times they don't want to tell you stuff. Either they don't want to help you or they think you're getting in their business. And so, you know, a lot of times you got to try to figure these things out on your own. And it's only when I really connected with a tax consultant is when I really started learning, you know, these are the things that I need to begin to implement in my business to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. And so I say, you know, that is, you know, why it's important, you know, for us to help one another. You muted. I think you muted.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What is one advice you would give to a person who's either almost hitting 6 figure, hit 6 figure, or even if they're not hitting 6 figure, what is one advice you would give them when it comes to tracking or even managing their finances?
Okay. I would say, you know, get with, if you don't know, get with a tax consultant, somebody that can give you a direction, even if you can't afford to hire them at the moment. At least get with them, ask questions so they can prepare you and help you understand how to track your business so that when it's time to file your taxes, you are much more prepared and you have it more together for them to file it. And they can help you with your you know, and then get with a financial advisor so they can help you track your money so that you can put it in place to be able to afford to afford a bookkeeping. I was once there, so I understand.
What's the biggest surprise you got once you realize you made 6 figure?
I was shocked. I'm like, I literally was making this and didn't know. And the reason I didn't know is because I wasn't managing my money properly. And so I didn't realize it because I wasn't saving it like I should have. And so that's why I didn't realize I really hit six figures until I started using the software that was tracking my income. And I realized, oh my God, I really made this much in 1 year. And then I looked at my account like, whoa, okay, I have nothing to show for that. So it's time to make a difference.
What were the tax implication when that year when you hit six figure?
Say that one more time.
The taxes. How did your tax status shift when you hit six figure?
Okay, so when it shifted, it was when I realized, and I also had to realize everything that I can file to as a deduction to the business, so that I can have something to go against me having to pay so much taxes. So I had to learn, okay, what could I use? What can I track and use as a deduction in the business so that I can have all of that at the end of the year. And so I got with a tax professional so that they can give me a rundown. And then I'm a researcher, so I like to go online and Google. Google is my best friend. And so I put the two together to realize what I needed to track and keep track of so that I have it in place for the end of the year.
So would you say that the first year you hit six figure, you did not have all your deduction in place?
No, ma'am.
Guys, so thank you for that little interview. So now I'm going to give you some time to just tell the people what you do, how you help them, and also how they can connect with you.
Awesome. Okay, so again, I'm Spessity Boone. I'm a salon owner, a licensed beautician. I'm a salon coach, business strategist. I started doing that because I realized in the beauty industry, that's where we're lacking at. We're coming in with no guidance. We're coming in with no instructions to understand how to run the tax part of our business. So I link, I get us set up with people and guidance to help in that area. I also help with, starting out in the business and giving them the guidance to help them understand how to get the business started, what measures you need to put in place in order to have a successful business. And I can be reached on Facebook at Spessity Boone, on Instagram at Spessity Boone. I also have a private Facebook page for hairstylists. And I try to help them understand the difference of being called a hairstylist up to becoming being called a cosmetologist. So I help them understand that in their avatar, who they need to track in their business so that they can become successful. And so that is why I have a private group. I do coaching. I have a Facebook page, a website where you can go to spessityboone.com, that I can be reached there and more information about me on there. I also have an email that you can reach out to me at Spessity, at spessityboone.com. If you need to email me any questions or any information, or either just to reach out to me. If you want to schedule an appointment with me to have a session, you can go to mentorwithspessity.com and you can schedule a session with me if you in the industry and you need some form of guidance and help on how you can get your business set up to the point where you're tracking and you're putting in place the things that we need to have in place to run our business successful. And thank you again for having me on here.
All right. So Specity, can I reach out to you for my hair?
Sure. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
so I mean, I went natural for most of my life, and then I decided to put, what is it, perm, cream, what it, I'm Jamaican, so I'm gonna say what we say in Jamaica. We cream with hair. So I cream my hair. That's all Jamaican, guys. So, and then my hair started to break in the middle and around the front, and I cut it off.
And
I
yes,
went
our
bald
stress points.
in the
Those are
middle.
stress points. In the middle, the
Mhm.
crown area, and our temples are our stress points.
Ah.
Mhm. And correction, it's really called relaxer. I know we was brought up saying perm, but perm is when you get permanent curl.
I know it wasn't right. I know
Yeah.
that because
But hey, we was all
my,
raised to say that.
my sister always correct me, okay? But I couldn't remember what she always say, okay? But
Right.
because I'm Jamaican, you know, we all say what we say in our culture. So we say we cream
Right.
our hair.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. It's still clean.
So if a Jamaican come in your salon and they said, I want to cream my hair, you know what they want to do, right?
Right. Thanks for letting me know that. I do that. I know that now.
Hey, we just say things that had nothing to do with what it means, but that's what it means.
Right. Hey, I get it. I only learned when I became a beautician.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And I had something, but it looks like it flew from my mind. It's a pleasure having you. And guys, if you have questions, please put your question in. Also, you can reach out to Specity, and her link is in the chat, so you can reach out to her if you have any questions about beauty. Right, Specity?
Yes, I'm your girl.
All right, thank you so much. And
Thank
we're
you.
I'm just gonna chat a little with you guys. You can here's something that I want to share, because I know that we tend to as business owners. So I told you I was going to tell you about my backdrop, right? 1996. I'm an accountant. Always been an accountant. Went to school as an for accounting. I have my bachelor's in accounting. But when I got pregnant with my daughter, my daughter was born in 96. But when I got pregnant with my daughter, I wanted to make sure that I could give my daughter as much as possible. I want to make sure that I was there. I was one of the mom who believed in breastfeeding. So I was looking at the time for what I could do to stay home, to do while I'm home with my daughter. So, and I was still in Jamaica because my daughter was born in Jamaica. And at the time, custom drapery was flourishing in Jamaica, right? And so I went and learned how to make drapes in Jamaica. But like I told you, I migrated just after my daughter. My daughter was about 11 months when I migrated to the United States. So I defaulted to what I know best, because I've been doing accounting since I left high school. So I defaulted to accounting, even though I wanted to start a business in drapery. So I moved to a new place. I had to get a job. And also at the time I found out I was pregnant. So can you imagine migrating with an 11-month-old? Yes, my daughter was 11-month-old when I found out I was pregnant with my son. So I'm in a whole new place and I'm calling around for job. And if you listen to the front of the story, the first of the earlier in the video, I told you about how all of that happened. And that's how I became a QuickBook Pro, came to learn QuickBook and become an advisor. But I wanted to do drapery. But because I was in a whole new place, I defaulted to my accounting because that's what I know how to do very well. Then while I was going on, I came here I got accounting jobs, so I was in the accounting. I'm working, but my mind was always and doing my own business. That was it. I always want to do my own business. I wanted to go back to the creative part of me. Thank you. I wanted to go back to the creative part of me, and I want to go back to making drapes. So in 2000, I want to say 2005, I found a school in North Carolina, drove to North Carolina, perfect the skill of making drapes. So I have a couple certificates about making drapes and stuff like that. And even though I know this, I started my business. I started a business to make drapes. I have Forbes, drapes, and more. And like almost all business owner that start a business, there's three things that you need in your business to make it work. You need somebody that manages a business. You need someone that is the skilled person or the technician, and you also need an entrepreneur, somebody that's going to vision, solve the problem. Of course, I'm probably two of those. But what I did not do is that I did not have a plan. So this drape, I made it, and that was my house. And the story will continue. Right now, I am going to bring up somebody that I met in 2000, I want to say 2016 or 2017, somewhere along there. We've been in several groups together. I absolutely adore how she does things. She's also one of my coach. I'm talking about the one and only webinar queen, the virtual COO. Can you come on camera, Miss Dakisha Williams?
You gotta give me access so I can show the beautiful people where I am.
Okay, I just did.
Girl, you know I'm gonna come ready this morning. Don't even play.
She said, I'm gonna be ready this morning. So let me introduce to you my coach, or one of my coach, because I have several, one of my coach, and she's known as the virtual COO. She's a business strategist. Now, let me tell you something about Dakisha. When I got her title, I'm like, who has such a long title? She has the virtual COO, business strategist, and leadership development trainer. That's her. And if you follow her, she always say she makes sideline money. That's what I want to remember. Sideline. She's the owner of Visions Enterprise. I don't know if you all need to know that, but she has over 20 years experience. And I'm not going to tell you when she started, because I don't want you all to sit down there and calculate her age. And if you know anything about her, she has two kids who are very athletic. I know her daughter is gymnastics. She's absolutely gorgeous. I love to see her when I catch some of her stuff. And her son play football, right? Yeah.
Free sport.
Yeah. She'll tell you all about that, because she always be talking. Now, one of the things I love about Dakisha, she says, I'm the same girl that got fired twice from the same job.
Like that.
So we're going to ask Miss Dakisha some question, and like everybody else, Miss Dakisha, we've increased the question because some people getting them right too quick. So we make it a little order.
Oh boy, hold on. Let me get ready. Strap my seatbelt on. It's about to get real.
All right. Do you think, oh no, let's ask you this one first. Were you prepared for the financial shift that happened when you hit six figure? I'm probably going to ask everybody that one so that.
Oh, I already answered that. And I'm going to keep it clean. This time I'm going to say, heck no. No to the no. I was not ready. No, ma'am.
Okay, can you share with the people?
Listen, so
what's one thing or two things that you think that you were not ready with?
Well, number one, I wasn't ready to pay taxes. Let's just keep it real. Can we keep it real? I was not ready to pay taxes. However, you know, it's funny because I was tracking income because I look at my stuff pretty much daily. Like I'm in my stuff daily. And I mean, it was no way around it. Like, even though our income doubled from the year before, so did our expenses. So it wasn't like the company wasn't progressing in the right direction, right? We were doing everything that, you know, we were supposed to do. The one thing that I will say is that at that time, we reconciled, right? But we were not, and I'm just gonna be honest, like plain Jane, we were not putting money to the side for to pay taxes quarterly. Nope, sure, we were not. And that made one heck of a difference at the end of the year when, you know, I sent all of my stuff over and it was like, oh, congratulations. You owe what? Now I have 2 kids. So I have 2 kids. I got a kid in college. You know, I have assets. So, you know, sometimes we can, you know, file some stuff, but honey, ain't no deductions gonna stop when your business is hitting like a certain point. And so we've already hit what we made last year, Elaine. So I've already had a conversation was like, honey, we need to talk because we have in what we had in last year. So if I know what the bill looked like last year, this is what we're not going to do come the end of 2020. So, and I might be getting ahead of myself. You might already ask me this, but you know me, you guys stop me when you want me to stop.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell the people how we have already prepared and adjusted. And if you have not read the book Profit First, it needs to be a prerequisite. If you have not read the book Profit First, it needs to be a prerequisite for any business owner. Let me see real quick if I can tell you who the author is. I think I know who it is. I want to say Mike Michalowicz, but I might be wrong. Hold on, y'all. Yep, Mike Michalowicz. I'm telling you, Cindy Lou, Mike Michalowicz is the truth. So Profit First, right? Let me tell y'all, Elaine, you're going to be so proud. I don't mind being a student when I need to be a student. Honey, you are going to be so proud because in this book, it tells you that you need to have an account for income, your operational expenses, your taxes, and operation expenses, taxes, your owner's pay, and then it's another one. I might be wrong. It's another one. But honey, let me tell y'all. So this is what Dakisha did, y'all, because let me tell you, we're not getting that tax bill next year, okay? So I actually put money aside for taxes, and it's a certain percentage. Yeah, girl, I told you was going to be proud of me. You thought I was going to come on this summit and you was going to pull me apart? No, we not having that. I was going to do my homework and I was going to be on my best behavior. But no, so, and based on how you allocate like 15% for taxes, 20% for taxes, based on how much money your company is expected to generate. And then I think I took 30%. I could take up to 50%, y'all, but I took 30%. I was being real generous, right? And I paid myself. I put money in my bank account. What? Come through, y'all. Come through. You can't tell it's just for nothing, okay? And then we took money and put some money in the profit account. So at the end of the third quarter, guess who's getting a bonus? Y'all better listen. This is why this particular platform is so important, because we as business owners, they don't tell us this stuff, you guys. They don't tell us this stuff. And when you know better, you do better. So I know I answered your question in like 10 minutes, but I'm waiting for the next question. Profit first. Get it.
See, you answered about 6 questions.
I told you.
I'm like, I didn't ask her all of that.
You know, when I get to training and get excited about something, I'm just gone. Because
so
go ahead.
before you say that, here's what we're gonna do. Since Takesha answered almost all the questions, it looks like I got to go get some harder questions. So here's what I'm going to ask you. So Takesha, what are you using to track your income and expense?
Girl, stop playing with me.
Tell the people.
So listen, I do both. I have a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. I am so old school, y'all. I am. I'm real controlling over my money. I look at my bank accounts. I print out my bank statements. Like, I'm old school. Don't get me wrong. I have QuickBooks. I got QuickBooks payroll for my independent contractors. But I pay attention to every penny that comes in and out of my bank account. So I still print out my bank statements, and Elaine and I had this conversation, and as you should, I have a notebook that's sitting on my desk with 12 months of statements, and I actually assign it. Get this, Elaine, you'll be proud. I assign a task in Asana, which is my project management tool, for me to reconcile my books every month. See? Because I really do want to get away from the Excel spreadsheet, but it's a comfort zone for Takesha because I can literally track everything. And it's kind of like a what do you call it in accounting? Accounting was like my least favorite subject. Checks and balances.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
Checks and balances for Takesha. May not be the right way, may not be the best way, but it works for me. So even though I have this system over here, God love the system, and I leave it for the tax people. Okay. But yeah, so I print off all my statements, and I still do have an Excel spreadsheet. I've got all my line items, so it needs to match QuickBooks because I know without a shadow of doubt that that's right, and it needs to match QuickBooks over here. But I just found out QuickBooks integrates with Infusionsoft.
Yes, it does.
Girl, it's about to be on. I did not know.
Yes, there's several other software that it integrates with.
You've been holding out.
Listen. This is what I say to people, Takesha. If you're not using QuickBooks, if you're overwhelmed by QuickBooks, then Maya said it took her 3 days to get someone to teach her QuickBooks. Most people wait a year, 2 years, 3 years to get someone to teach them QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
QuickBooks automates a lot of process for the business owner. So somebody said that I can't pay an accountant or I can't pay a bookkeeper, but you can pay them to teach you how to make sure you're doing it right. Absolutely. Understand what I'm saying? Because once it's set up right, mm-hmm. Listen, that could be doing stuff while you're sleeping.
No, I 1,000% agree with you.
Listen, so I won't say this right here because I want to make sure that everybody's understanding. You can automate the first process of your bookkeeping tracking is recording the transaction. Mm-hmm. You can automate that process where you don't even have to go and look at it. You set that
and
up.
The first thing too is the first thing, and you may have said it prior to getting on here, too, is that as business owners, remember I spoke of having those accounts. That's the first thing that you need to do, though.
We're going to talk about that after we're finished. we're going to talk about that after you're finished. So guys, you heard it from Dakisha, and what I'm going to do now, because she answered all questions, so I've got to make sure that I get some more order questions for those people coming after her. Because we have a couple more people to go, and she just blew up all my questions. So Dakisha, thank you for answering those questions. What we're going to do now is that I think you tell the people why they need to do bookkeeping, but what I want you to do is to tell them what you do, how you help the people, and how they can find you.
Oh no, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, like managing your books is, I mean, it comes with a level of entrepreneurship. And in order for you to get to the next level, like you need to know where you currently are in business. And, you know, I laugh and I joke all the time, but in all seriousness, I asked one of my clients yesterday, do they know how much they generated in revenue in their business? And the answer was no. And we cannot have that as entrepreneurs. Like you need to know where you are. You need to be setting goals. Even in the midst of the pandemic, like we blew out our quarterly goals, but we had goals set. And so I check our revenue, I check our sales, I check our expenses. I have to manage payroll. And these are things that you as an entrepreneur should be, you know, you should be paying attention to on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. You know, having something like QuickBooks is phenomenal. When as a business owner, when you're self-employed and they start asking you for, you know, a profit and loss statement, you're probably sometimes, and you know, I've been there before where I'm looking like, say, what? And what goes on that? You can actually go into QuickBooks and you can pull your reports that anyone, especially, you know, with everything that's going on right now and then refinancing and buying cars, like I actually, and this was I was excited about this. I was actually able to purchase my first car on the strength of the income from my business. Like that was absolutely huge for me, but it's because I kept my books intact. It was because I specifically had an account that was not commingled, which I know Elaine's going to talk about, with my personal finances. And so listen, if we are really on the path to grow, scale, and profit, you guys, then you have to, number one, get your books in order. It starts there. You have to get your financial house in order. My name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs scale, grow, and profit their online business to 6 figures and beyond with product launches, specializing in webinars. We use webinars to build your list, build your tribe, and make money online. That's what it's all about, especially now. Everyone is shifting to the online platform. And if you are serious about taking your business to the next level, I help my clients generate their first 5,000 launch, 10,000 launch, 20,000 launch. And we are moving from our clients doing 10,000 a month to 20K a month. So if you're ready to hit that level, you need to go ahead, find me, facebook.com/Dakisha. There's not too many Dakishas on there. All right. My hair is a little straight in my little profile picture, but you know, it's me. Hit the connect button, send me a friend request, shoot me a DM message. If you've never done a webinar, feel free. You can grab our free gift at thewebinarchecklist.com. That's thewebinarchecklist.com. And so I'm going to turn it over before I get in trouble because I have a tendency to be long-winded and talk a lot. So I think my 10 minutes is up. Elaine, back over to you.
You're good. You're good, Dakisha. You're good.
Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. You guys don't forget it. Thank you, Elaine. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. You know, guys, I got to say this. You know, I'm a person that looks back at stuff, and I think a lot. I don't know if any of you do that. Think a lot when I'm in the shower. I need a pen and a paper that will not erase when you're in the shower, because that's where we get our most pivotal moments, right? For me, that's what it is. And I was thinking about it this morning, and I said to myself, wow, most of it's amazing that I almost I almost gave up. I almost said I'm going to stop talking about bookkeeping. I got to the point where I said, I don't want to do this anymore, because the truth is I hate bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is not sexy. I hate it. But here's what it is. I can do it in my sleep. And I realized, even though I hate it, and even though I can do it in my sleep, the people who need it most are out there, are not getting it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to stay on this track. I got to stay on this course. I got to make sure. Listen, one of the things that I find is that, and I know Maya talks about it, and I think LaShonda, because you all know we had Lysandra earlier, and now we have LaShonda going to be coming up. And Elaine don't like calling people names because she always make a mess of it. But one of the things is that when I was doing my draper business as a minority person, I find that a lot of minority don't know where to get certain resources. And then I went to this seminar, and somebody says, you need to get minority certified. And I went to get certified because I was doing drapes. I had my business. I was featured in the paper. I had everything going to me. Business wasn't all what it should be. Didn't have all my stuff in place, but I was doing my business. And I went to the place that was supposed to help me to get certified. Do you know what that man said to me? He said, oh, government don't buy what you do. Only to find out 4 years ago that government buys everything, okay? Government buys everything. One of the things is that you got to make sure you have records. You have to make sure, LaShonda, are you still here? You got to make sure you have records. You got to make sure you're keeping your books in order. And I met this girl. I know she's passionate about, I'm also passionate about government contract. And I got to tell you about her though, because I met her a couple of months ago. She said she's a serial entrepreneur. I know what that means. The only thing that I put serial to is number. Right? She's an author. She said she's she trains, she's a guru, and she's creative. She's a visionary. I guess her glasses can tell you that she's a visionary. It's all cute, right? And she's CEO and president of HealthWorks and ASAP training and course development. What I'm going to say about her, because I'm not going to tell you everything else. She probably will tell you a little about her, but she specializes in government contracts. Am I right?
That's right.
Yes. So here's one of the best kept secret that most minority business don't know. And that's why I talk about my drape. And when I was in the draper business, I went to this place, right? Because I had just learned that government buys from people. So I decided that I wanted to sell to government, and I went to this place and I asked the person who was supposed, and he looks at me and he says, oh, government don't buy your stuff. Fast forward to probably 10 years later, 2016, when we did my husband business, we decided that we were going to get certified as a minority owned business, right? We got certified in less than a year. And when I hear people say, oh, it takes 2 years, it takes 3 years, I was blown away. But I had the experience where I was told that government don't buy from me. So we have a person in the house that's also going to tell us about that. But before she tells us about that, I'm going to ask you some of the questions. Don't be Mr. Quiche on me now. And answer.
Wait, I was thinking that. I'm like, how am I go after my coach? Like, how,
Keisha's one of my coaches too. So I'm like, how am I going to go after my coach? It's all good. It's all
It's
good.
all good, right? So we're going to ask the first question. So if you're a speaker and you're here, you know, we're going to ask you this question.
Okay.
Were you prepared for the financial shift that happened when you hit six figure?
So, like everyone else previously, I'm definitely going to say initially no, but I hit my first six figures at, I don't know, was I 20? I was still in my 20s. And no, and no. And when you talk about six figures, I want to stress this out, like hitting six figures as in $100,000 and hitting six figures as in $500,000 are two very different spaces and two very different mindsets that you have to have too.
That is awesome, because you know, one time I was trying to explain to somebody that six figures is $100,000,
Right.
but it doesn't mean that when you hit 200,000, it's a whole, you shift as you go along.
Have to. You definitely have to. Just like shifting from 500,000 is very different to shifting to $1 million. Like, it's a whole different ball game. The more money, the more problems. We know that.
Don't we say that in life?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you involved in tracking your finance in your company?
So I am. And I started out like Dakisha with my spreadsheet. I had an Excel spreadsheet with one of the first contracts that I had. And then I switched over to FreshBooks that I'm using now. But in the next couple months, I'll be ready for you, Elaine, to go ahead and take over this QuickBooks thing. Because, you know, I'm not only tracking my earnings, I'm also tracking employees, I'm tracking their hours. And because I have contracts, I have to track dollar amounts on contracts and making sure I'm not going over.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you're currently using FreshBook, correct?
Yes.
That is also an awesome way to track your expenses. So we know you're using, do you think, FreshBook, so do you think that just tracking business expenses, just doing income and expenses is enough for your business?
Absolutely not. Again, as I just mentioned, I have to track hours. So for my clients, I have, like for one of my clients, I'm only allowed at 1,880 hours per year. So I also have to track the hours. So those hours match up to the dollar amount that I'm allocated for the year. So I can't just track income and expenses. I also have to track hours. I also need to track what I've spent. I also need to track what's being put aside. Yeah, it's a whole, my brain is like this all the time.
Okay, so what was the biggest surprise you got when you hit six figure?
I think the very first time was I was able to have a lot of those write-offs that I wasn't aware of initially. So I've owned a business since I was 7, but you know, when you get grown and you have to do your taxes for real, you know, the first couple of years I had to pay taxes, but then identifying what could be written off. So, you know, a portion of your home if you're using it, the office space, a portion of your office space, your entire office space if you have office space that's not at home, your mileage when you go into a client site, you know, some of the dinners that you have. If you talk about business, that's a business expense. That's a write-off. So knowing and understanding all of the write-offs that are available to small businesses is what has helped me. But I've also been in that space where I've had a large tax bill. So having to write that check, that's always pretty. But like Dakisha, I also put aside about 25 to 30% of my earnings into a tax bucket. So I know I can't even touch that money.
Got you. That is awesome. what shift would you make as to bring ease to your business in relation to your finance? What shift do you think you need to make?
Hiring you sooner rather than later. Like just staying in the space where I'm great in. Like I'm good at government contracting and training and course development. I don't have no business trying to figure QuickBooks out from top to bottom.
That is good to hear. That's good news for the heirs. All right. So are you tracking like donation for your company?
I do. And then I track any nonprofit giving that I give. I get printouts from those agencies at the end of the year to add to my tax. Yeah.
Are you paying yourself?
Of course. A salary.
Why are you paying yourself? Tell the people why it's important to pay yourself.
It is important to pay yourself because what sense would it make to have a business and you're constantly in a spin where you're putting more into the business, but you're not paying yourself? So I pay myself a salary, and as I bring on more employees, I'll be on like a 401k. Like I will put myself and my employees on a 401k plan and a savings plan and a benefits plan, because it makes sense. It makes things a whole lot easier. And us as small business owners, when it comes to purchasing things like a house, it's easier if you have a check stub and a W-2, as opposed to just saying you have a business and you make all this money. So when people say cash is king, in certain instances it is, but you want to have a track record, or you want to have basically proof that you're making the money and earning the money. So
that is awesome. It is just so awesome. And here's so you've answered all your questions, right? So we're going to give you a chance. We're going to give you a chance to tell the people about what you do, how you can help them. And we know you can talk a little bit more about managing finances, and just take it away.
All right. I am LaShonda Bracey, your government contract guru and your small business coach. And I help small businesses increase their bottom line by adding the federal government to your business line. Anything that's sold in private sector can be sold to the federal government. You just need to know who in the federal government to sell it to and how to sell it to them. So that's what I do. I walk you through that very first process when it comes to government contracting, and that is getting registered properly. If you're not registered properly, you can't even approach a government agency and try to sell your products and services to the federal agency. So when I say the government buys everything, I literally mean the government buys everything. I had a call the other day with a client who actually sells vending machines. And I expressed to her that it would make sense to try to sell her vending machines or get her vending machines into military bases. Do you know how that would change the trajectory of her life, getting her vending machines in just, let's say, 3 or 4 military bases? Absolutely amazing. That's her going from $5,000 a month to easily $40,000 or $50,000 a month. So literally anything you sell can be sold to the government. The very first government contract that was created was from a military person who sold nails to the government. Granted, he sold the nails for about $2 or $3 a piece, so he became a millionaire like instantaneously. But anything you sell, let me rephrase that, anything you sell legally in the private sector can be sold to the federal government. That's pretty much it for me. If you want to get in contact with me, I can be reached at LaShondaBracey.com. My email is LaShonda Bracey. My Twitter is GovConGuru. Instagram is GovConGuru and LaShonda Bracey. But I'm all over the place. You still there, Elaine?
Yes, I am. I have a quick question for you because I know you give the people all of that. Tell the people a little bit about the minority contract without giving it away. Because what the
So,
minority, yeah, just talk a little bit about that without just giving away everything that you know.
I won't just focus on minority contracts, but I will focus on set asides. So there are
Hold
specific
on,
set asides.
hold on. Tell them what is set aside. Because the first time
Yeah,
I hear the term, I didn't have a clue what it is. And if you could, because I know LaShandra, I got to say it right because this is Lysandra. You know why my tongue is twisted? Because I had two people with two close names. Okay, so she mentioned the NAICS code. If you can also explain that, because I know I said what it is, but I wonder, because when I heard that for the first time, I had no clue what it is. So I
got it.
know, right. So I know you are in that space, so I can just leave that to you. So go ahead and take it
So,
away. Tell them what is set aside, what is minority, and the next code.
so when we talk about set asides or minority owned business, the government has set asides for certain categories yearly. So for a set aside could be a minority owned business, a woman owned business, a small business, a service disabled veteran owned business, as well as a hub zone. So, hub zone is based on where you live in your area. So, if you live in a more rural area, you could possibly be a hub zone. Woman owned means that 51% of the business is woman owned. Minority owned means 51% of the business is minority owned. And here's the catch with minority owned. So minority could be African American, it can be Native American, it can also be Caucasian woman, because Caucasian women in business and industry is considered a minority. And then we talked about hub zone, and then we talked about total small business. But small business is going to be based on your NAICS codes, whatever is classified as small business, and that's a dollar amount for your NAICS code. And your NAICS code is your North American Industry Certification or Service number. I'm getting my acronym jacked up, but literally it's the number that you use to identify the type of business you have. So I own a training and course development company. My NAICS code, the one that I go to all the time, is 611420. And that's a training and development NAICS code. So when you are approaching the federal government or you're trying to sell your products and services, that's when you use your NAICS codes to actually go ahead and allow folks, let people know the type of business you have based on your NAICS codes, if that makes sense. So you can have multiple NAICS codes for your business. I use the training NAICS code, I use the IT services NAICS code, I use the HR NAICS codes, and I use the staffing NAICS codes. But there is literally a NAICS code for every type of business and industry that there is. I think that covered it, Elaine. The short and sweet.
Yeah. I couldn't have done it better myself. So and I know that there are some people on here that is hearing NAICS code for the first time because it's not commonly used in the corporate world.
So in business and industry.
Right.
So what I will tell you is in government, we have our own language. And every agency has its own language. So I actually had to create my own acronym book because it's that crazy.
I got to get that book. So we have a question for you, LaShonda. She says, yes, it's from Camila. She says, can wellness services be sold to government like sound healing and yoga?
Most definitely. So just like if you were selling to a corporate agency, health and wellness, you can go into some agencies. Suggestion would be USDA on Wednesday when they have their small business area open in their market. And I would also reach out to the government benefits organization. So there's a whole government benefits organization, and they kind of specialize in that stuff. So they have folks that come in for health and wellness day, they've got people that come in weekly. Again, military bases are always looking for health and wellness folks. Try to target possibly military wives who are looking to do yoga during the day. Yeah, you've got tons of opportunities. Don't ever think you don't. When I say the government buys everything, they buy everything.
I had, hold on. I said it a couple of times because prior to me defaulting back to accounting, I used to talk about minority certification, and I was blown away. And like I said, you know, we don't have enough information. And let me just share a quick experience with you, because as you say that, minority don't necessarily mean Black people.
Right.
And I've been to a lot of minority function and see some.
You were the only one.
And no, not I'm the only one, but I went to a minority function, guys, and there was more white people than Black people.
Exactly.
I went to a minority function, and I happened to start talking to this lady. She owns a construction company. She knows nothing about construction. That's another topic for another day.
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
Because LaShonda and I would go off on that. Because that's and so if you're out.
What she probably did is it's her husband's company. He made her 51% owner. So now she's got access to different types of contracts.
But here's what's crazy, LaShonda. I gotta share this with the people. I know this is a little off our topic, but I gotta share it because it itched me even now. The business has been in business for over 40 years, and she was the owner for 2 years. And guess what? Because they didn't even certified when they got the contract. They fast track the certification so that they can get the contract. Listen. Oh yeah. You and I need to just sit and talk.
Yeah, we can have a whole one-on-one about
So guys,
my world.
Yeah, I know your world, girl. I know your world. And what amazes me is when it's also I went to another function for minority. I was the only Black person with a Haitian lady with a white woman, and guess what? She didn't even own the company. Her boss sent her. So let's stop talking about that. Let's talk about managing our money.
Oh, I do have real quick. If you're a woman-owned firm, you probably want to go into the SBA's website between today and I think the end of the week. If you're not a certified woman-owned business, because that's getting ready to change to a third-party company. But you can still, I believe, do the self-certified this week. So just go to sba.gov.
Okay. All right. Do you have how do people reach you? Do you have anything that you want to tell them? Because I'm going to
you got my email address, info@lashondabracey.com. From my website, you can schedule a 30-minute little strategy session with me. I actually have a telesummit coming up July 29th. And at the beginning of next month, I believe the 7th or the 8th, I'm doing another free 14-day government contracting challenge where I'll walk you through that beginning process to actually get registered properly to do business with the government. And
you have something coming up on the 22nd?
The 29th.
Oh,
29th. Yeah, I need to send you something.
Okay.
And I need some stuff from you.
Okay. It just clicked. That date just clicked because I remember I saw it. All right. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure having you on this platform. I want to switch. You are welcome. I want to switch now because I want to do, I want to share some stuff with you from my perspective. So if you guys get some water, get a pen, get a paper. Make sure, I hope you're all taking notes. I'm actually gonna